I was asked to write a new poem for Comrade Garrett, so I did that earlier today. I think the role of a revolutionary, I think the role of an artist is to serve his people, to serve his class. So I wrote it with that in mind. Everybody is something to poet. So this is called 7 minutes and 15 billion years of matter. And it's dedicated to Garrett Foster, a supporter of the Mike Ramos Brigade, the United Neighborhood Defense Movement, and Black Lives Matter, killed by a reactionary in Austin, Texas, yesterday, July 25th, 2020. Police and military, like agents of plague and death, stand guard at ancient federal buildings and kidnap protesters in darkness. The dark dreams of fascists are aided into reality by the dogs of a corpse state. But the rebellion is rich red earth, and it needs to be watered. And the people are gardeners protesting against drought. They come to kneel before the dirt.
There you go.
They come to kneel before the dirt. It is noble to kneel for great things, like people's justice, like the love for the people, like the unity of will, like the unity of action. Great things, the things we do in secret, the things we do in the open, accumulates a mounting debt. And when we are called to pay that debt, to water it with our blood, who are we to renounce it and flee? It's a coward's death, as light as a feather. It's foolish to think we weren't born from the earth, made from 15 billion years of matter in motion. It is the law of development of matter, eternal. It brought your fiance to you. It has brought me to you, you to me and us, and you to the people. To this very point, continuing in its unstoppable development, even in the 7 minutes you were left on black ground, encircled by enemies, who were in turn encircled by friends. Your comrades and our commitment, like the particles of matter, coming together, culminating in the greatest vigil, in the greatest commemoration, in the greatest protest, in the greatest march, in the greatest rally, in the greatest poem, in the greatest act of sacrifice, in the greatest act of love, in the greatest act of class hatred for our enemies. And you are honored and privileged not to be betrayed or pitied, for your name and blood has become eternal stitch on the red flag, unfurling in the winds of the coming and unstoppable people's war, pregnant with the world all our children will see. La sangre no ahoga la revolución que viene, sino la riega. Blood does not drown the coming revolution, it waters it. Garrett Foster, presente en la lucha.
Garrett Foster, presente en la lucha.
Garrett Foster, present in the struggle.
Garrett Foster, presente en the struggle.
Thank you.
You want to hold it for me? Yeah. Just introduce yourself.
I have a lighter for anybody need a lighter? Feel free to light the candle.
One, two. Oh, sorry.
That did it.
Yeah, this is Dwayne. I'm also a poet. I wrote something to. I write a lot of poems involving issues, social issues and everything. Unfortunately, it keeps going on. I wrote one involving Garrett Foster. I bought the wrong book, but I'm trying to remember the top of my head because it's not really about being a great artist. It's about just bringing a message. And one, two. Yeah, it's about bringing a message, and hopefully we all can just continue fighting this battle because they ain't gonna stop no time soon. And having said that, I said must continue on. The battle continues and continues. He can't breathe, but they still kept choking. Now another one's provoking. He's keep putting his hand on his neck, but they still talking about you're not supposed to defend yourself even though it's all case of bear arms for everyone else. Why it keeps happening? 2020, I remember in this own backyard, Rodney said, can we all get along? Years later, they still don't want us to get along. Now in Texas where they're bearing arms, but once again, they telling only few can do it. As for me, those that look like me, no, it ain't true. LA, New York City, Chicago, Detroit, and Austin, Louisville, Boston. Every 2020 has been a hell of a year. The pandemic ain't stopping nothing going on when it comes to the PD. They continue being greedy. And they continue looking at the certain complexion that look like me. I don't know why. Years later, they still want to try. Once again, even though I can breathe, I must use this voice to hopefully ease, but not tease. Because after today, they still going to continue doing what they do. I don't know if it stay true, but it don't matter who becomes next prez 3 months from now. 5-0 still gonna shoot 5-0 shots. Remember 5-0 shots? Even though he was unarmed, they still ring a bell. Oh hell. But I'm going to continue to rebel without a pause. And that's for the cause. Thank you.
One thing I just remembered is that there's another chant that's super important on what he just spoke on.